Welcome to Talking Business. I'm your host, Darcey Edwards with Queen Bee Leadership Training. Talking Business is just that. We are talking business with business leaders, leaders in the community, and those who change their communities with entrepreneurship. This podcast is presented by Xpose Hope as a thank you to the business community. Catch us on all the platforms. Find us, follow us, and review us. Welcome. This is Talking Business. I'm your host, Darcey Edwards with Edwards Realty Trust and Queen Bee Leadership Training. And today we have on our show Jacob Mead with AmFam, American Family Insurance. He is originally from here in Hillsboro, and this is his first year in business.
It is.
That's crazy.
Yes.
In the middle of a pandemic, you're like, what the heck? Might as well start a business.
Why not?
Right? So why don't you tell us why now was a great time for that?
Yeah, well, prior to opening my agency, I worked with American Family Insurance on the corporate side as an employee, helping the agents of Oregon, Idaho, and Washington. I worked on a team of 21 across the country analysts, and then because of COVID, they slowly consolidated us down to 17, and then the talk was to move us down to 12. And relocate us to Wisconsin. As a native Oregonian and someone who is in love with the Portland metro area, I knew Wisconsin wasn't in my future, the immediate future.
We love Wisconsin.
Something about 8-month winters scare me.
Sorry.
So I went to my insurance agency and my insurance agent and was like, hey, what do I do? She's like, I'm retiring. Why don't you take over my agency? So just lined up perfectly. My father is actually licensed to sell insurance, and he's actually my sales manager.
That's fabulous.
So the idea where everything just aligned, despite being in the middle of a COVID and a pandemic, it just made sense to take this leap of faith and trust and bet on me.
I love that. Bet on yourself. That's a number one tip I would say to people is bet on yourself, because I bet you're going to win.
Yes.
Because you hustle. You have to hustle, right? So also, you come from an entrepreneurial background, like your family members have been business owners in the area. Can you expand on that at all?
Yeah. From preschool to through kindergarten, I was babysat at the Hillsboro Hobby Shop in downtown Hillsboro. I was paid in the old-fashioned get a quarter and you put it in the Runts coin dispenser and get a handful of Runts and Hot Wheels.
Oh, yeah.
So that was where I would go in between grade school and my parents' house was, I'd work the Hillsboro Hobby Shop and help my grandpa stock the shelves.
That's awesome. But it taught you a work ethic.
Yes. Right?
At a young age. And so what are some things that you are finding in this new venture that have become a challenge?
You know, I officially have no boss. I am my own boss, which can be demotivating to some extent because there's no one overseeing you, that making sure you wake up on time, you open your store on time, and that you're providing the level of service. However, I've put myself in the mind frame that I have over 600 customers, so I have over 600 bosses. It's up to me to wake up on time, open my store, hire the right staff, and ensure that we're providing amazing customer service from beginning to end in every interaction, because it's up to me to not only have 600 bosses today, but to have 700 bosses tomorrow and grow my business through their advocacy of me and my team.
I love that. And I love the fact that I want to bring it back to that whole form. At the end of the day, success is done at customer service level. And that's kind of been thrown out the window during COVID, right? So I love the fact that you bring that back. You know, what is it? Old is the new cool. And we were just talking about that, how, you know, there's the new cool stuff is ugly chunky shoes, ugly this, ugly that. Well, bringing back customer service to a level that you find to be that they're your bosses is phenomenal. I love that. I love hearing that when people get it, because that's important to get. Love that. What are some things that you're passionate about?
Providing great customer service, using this platform, this small business, as an opportunity to do good for the community and do better. I'm really passionate about, not everyone has money to give or time to give, but finding what can you give within your capacity that can do better and do more for the community. I am a huge coffee drinker. There is a large national chain who I support way too much that's recommended that we give them give customers gift cards to this large national chain. However, I feel like giving money back to a large multi-billion-dollar organization via a gift card to a customer, although it'll make the customer happy, it doesn't actually do good for the community. What can I do better for the community? Why not give a donation instead to that large multinational coffee chain
Sure.
and give it to a local nonprofit? A $5 or $10 donation can do drastic good for the community versus $10 to a non-local neighborhood coffee chain.
Right. No, I love that. And as a fellow lover of coffee, yes, we have other guests on that don't love coffee too, but that's fine. I mean, everybody has a choice, right? But I love the fact that you're coming back to the community and really entrenching yourself. I know that you went to school here. You're a Spartan.
Yes.
And that's important. And giving back to those nonprofits. Who are some of your favorite people to give to?
Currently, this year, we are working with Pride Northwest, an LGBTQ charity based in Portland. The Hillsboro Artists Repertory Theater has a after-school and summer program called Stages Youth Academy.
Yes, it's wonderful.
And then OFASA, Oregon Friends of Shelter Animals, where my dad got his last 2 dogs from. And so really providing opportunities to give back to every facet of the community.
Right, yeah. That's fabulous. I love the fact that puppies are included in your
Right?
in your plan, right? I know I should have said, "Oh, bring them, bring
Yes.
them." Yeah. And you also, like you had spoken about before, involving your family and having your dad there. I've met your father.
Yes.
Wonderful man. And how did that come about? Because sometimes family doesn't work well together. And they figure that out halfway through and it's kind of damaging. How has that been different for you?
Well, this is my second time bringing my father along with me on a crazy journey. And a previous career, I worked at Zoom Care, and my dad at the time was working at a company called PowerMax, exclusively selling Mac computers, Apple computers. As I was seeing the writing on the wall of Apple stores were opening up and the third-party resellers and sellers of Mac computers was going away, Zoom Care was launching a health insurance company. And so I was like, my dad's in sales, he's in commissions, he gets this, he just needs to get licensed. I can connect him to the CEO and be a match made in heaven. And honest to goodness, my dad did it. He was a top salesman. He actually stayed. Unfortunately, the insurance company didn't last long.
Right.
But he actually was the first employee and the last employee of the insurance company with regards to the sales division, and then on the service side. As when they stopped selling, he wanted to stay on and make sure that the service side, that the customers that had paid into the premiums were going to get their service that they had paid for to the very end.
Wow.
And that's kind of my own, my DNA is I want to make sure, my dad was, although hired on the sales side, he was like, no, although I can't sell anything further because we're barred from selling insurance, I promise these customers service and I'm going to stay there to the very end. And so that's kind of where I get my drive from a little bit.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's in your DNA.
Yeah.
And that work ethic. And that's the important part, is having that work ethic of, yes, okay, I have you're going to have 700 employees that wake you up every morning. I love that. What are your 5-year goals?
I currently have 1 location in South Hillsboro. My goal is to get to 4 locations in the Portland metro area, from Cornelius to Clackamas.
Excellent.
So,
love it.
yes.
Anything that happened that you're like, I wish I would have known when I started this not to do this or to start this earlier?
Once you register with the state to be a business owner and the IRS, your information is on every list from everyone and anyone who has a service to sell or a website to link you to. I would be a little more hesitant early on and look into not everyone is out to do illegitimate things with your money. However, I paid $200 to be on a website, and they promised me over 50 leads a month. 6 months later, I have 0 leads. So I would be cautious of any promises that are being made. Look into an ROI, and don't make an investment unless you're okay and comfortable with not seeing that money ever again. And I knew for Google purposes, I needed another website to link back to your website, because part of the Google search algorithm is actually however many different places your website is.
Yes.
So it was a worthwhile investment for me. I invested in it with that in mind, and the kicker was, 50 leads a month will be generated back to my business, and that just never happened.
Right. And yes, if I could preach that or scream that from the rooftops of the first year, you are trying to get your legs under you. I had a conversation with a realtor recently, brand new. Same thing. We get targeted. I would say, I use the word targeted for that all the time. And I said, you don't need coaching. You don't need this. You don't need that. You don't need to advertise. You need to figure out how to fill your forms out right. Like, you're just trying to get your legs under you. Get that done. Then make a plan for the next year to make those investments.
Yes.
And find what's talk to people and what's working, what's not, because it is, I would slightly say, predatory to new business owners. So I love the fact that you brought that up about, you know what, you don't have to be on every single list. You really don't. You just need to talk to people.
And with that, create a marketing plan. I've now rounded out my marketing plan, and I've said, okay, every dollar has a job and it has this intent.
Right.
And my goal is every quarter to reevaluate and only make pivots annually. So like, okay, it's been 3 months. Let's go ahead and say, let's maybe put a question mark on this to reinvest into next year. So that way, because some things are a long game and some things are a short game. And you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater if you bought a long game, but you thought it was a short game.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Yes, exactly. Things are a long game. Networking, long game, right? It's not, you go to one meeting and then everybody wants your product. And I tell people that too, it's a 3 to 5 year game. So be able to invest in that and stay focused one thing at a time. Don't try to be shotgun approach. Yeah, I love the fact that you said that you budget. You do Dave Ramsey, the little budget. That's perfect, because that's so important. How can we help you?
Let's talk about insuring your dreams at insuringyourdreams.com. No, really, I am here to be, honestly, although I'm captive agent with American Family Insurance, and I can't say I'm an independent insurance advisor because I'm captive to one agency, I want to be that independent insurance advisor for you and review all of your insurance needs. And I might not be the best price or the lowest price, but I may also be able to provide you a complete and total package that someone else might not be able to do, or review your current insurance options and see that you've got a great rate, everything's locked and loaded. Don't switch yet. Let's talk. Let's keep this relationship open, just in case something happens, because every insurance company moves the meter on where they want to be on competitiveness and target markets and prices. And I'm okay with being that, your best friend in the insurance business, and bouncing those ideas off of like, okay, maybe don't switch to us, or maybe let's take 1 or 2 things because you're not getting that multi-product discount that we could offer, or whatever that might be. So
I do want you to share a story.
Okay.
And I will tell you. So there's a myth that when you have your home paid off, that you don't need insurance anymore, or it needs to get lowered or whatever. I want you to share how that is a detrimental myth.
Yes. Homeowners insurance is required if you have a loan on your house. That's what the bank does to secure their interest. It's really securing your interest. It's just a mutually beneficial thing. However, once you pay off your mortgage, technically and officially, no one is there saying you need to have this. However, homeowners insurance is so inexpensive. We're talking, in most cases, less than $1,000 a year, less than $100 a month.
Yeah.
However, the benefit of that is astronomically there. We had a customer who paid off their mortgage and was like, you know what, I don't think I'm going to have this. And I was like, let's keep it on. Let's review this in like 6 months. You've already paid for the year. There's no reason to cut it. They had a house fire. Not only did their house catch on fire, their neighbors' houses behind them and next to them caught on fire. And not only, so we will put them up in a hotel for the next year. We will make sure that they have, groceries, loss of use, clothes, furniture, so while their home is being rebuilt, but we will rebuild their home. And this is all because they made an extra $1,000 expense, which technically they didn't need to make because their mortgage company doesn't require it anymore. And They have their $1,000 deductible. So we are there for them. We are on their team, on their side and on their team. But just think about that. If they didn't pay that $1,000 or they wanted their $400 back because that's how much those premium was due back to them, they would be on the hook for $600,000 roughly in costs,
easy,
in hotels, in repairing their home, their property. Lack of insurance frustrates me because I understand the importance of the bottom line and wanting to make as much money, put as much money into savings, grow your business as much as possible. But failing to insure yourself and your business appropriately is almost criminal.
Well, yeah. And the point of that isn't just the rebuilding of their home, because the prices of all of those supplies are up 300% from last year. Mm-hmm. And so that small minimum amount of payment for that insurance, and people don't understand that and they don't think that way, right? So that's your job as an educator.
Yes.
To really just make sure that that's clear. You also insure horses, which I think is fab.
Yes.
I have horses, so I know Madison Avenue will get her own insurance because she's pretty cool. Anything that you would like to share lastly as we close this up?
I haven't thought about a closing statement, but, trust in yourself, invest in yourself. Like I said, if you do marketing, do a return on investment. It's okay to ask questions of everyone and anyone who's asking you to pay their bill. No one will be your advocate except yourself.
Exactly.
So trust your gut, and you can do it. You can accomplish anything.
So this was supposed to be talking business, but it ended up being kind of coaching-ish.
I'm sorry.
Which is awesome as coach. Love that, because that's really true. Connect with other people. Ask them what they got out of it. Do you need help? It's okay to ask people for help. That's the bottom line.
Yes.
Really. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for opening your business this year so I get to meet with you.
Yes.
And everybody gets to know you. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks.
And we're rolling.
Hi, I'm Betty with Xpose Hope. Here's your Xpose Hope moment for today. Why are mentors important? Mentors are amazing people who walk alongside those who have an addiction or those coming out of the life, and they one-to-one work with a woman or man to better their future. Mentors are extremely important because it's someone you can turn to 24 hours a day and someone who's going to give you great life guidance. That is your Xpose Hope moment for today. See us at xposehope.com.
Thank you for listening to Talking Business, brought to you by Xpose Hope. We can be found on all of your favorite podcast platforms, YouTube, iTunes, all of them. Also, be sure to like us, share us, and leave a comment. Who do you want to hear from? We want to know.